Hey, okay, welcome to SE Thompson Designs. You're probably wondering, as usual, what in the world is Steve doing now? So what we're looking at is my router jig, my Lee D4 Pro router jig. I have several videos on this unit in which I discuss its pros, its cons. There's really no cons to it actually, but I'm going to try to save a lot of time by not going over items I've gone over in previous videos. Just know that I have it now out because I need to cut some dovetails in a different way than I have in past projects. I have got these long boards that the tails have to go on, and they're pretty long. This is a continuation of creating a really cool sign out of a glass sign. So at any rate, let's talk just briefly about my setup here. Okay. If you know anything about this jig, you got yourself 24 inches of space here. You have these pins that once they're set up, you can do the pins and the tails with the same setup. You can customize completely, as I did here, the tails. I'm going to have two tails here. All right. And what you want to do is not practice on the actual project. First of all, this is oak, and we don't want to mess that up. I've already planed it and got it to where I want it, so it has to be perfect. So in other words, so you're going to take yourself some sacrificial pieces. So I planed this to the specs of that wood there, and I have it sitting here. What am I using? I'm using the bits that came with the Lee D4 Pro, the Lee 80/8. Okay, and that's what's mounted in the router at this time, the plunge router, and the Lee 140/8 or /8. All right, so he cuts the pins. So we're going to set him aside down here. What they want you to do is to take the thickness of the pin board and draw a line here. So this is going to be the pin board, like you can even see that, sorry. So you just put it here, draw a line under there, and now you know how far down. We're going to set this down here because once the vibration starts, we don't want that to fall. They want you to take your router and lower that bit to the center of this pencil line. And that way, in theory, you're going to be able to lower the pins so that it's just beneath the surface here. Well, what I'm doing is going actually below the line so that I have plenty of room, because I can always sand away that little bit of extra for when it's all glued up and that sort of thing. Okay. What else can we talk about? Now, what they typically want you to do is to take your stock and move it over to this factory slit here. Okay, slide it over there, and then every time you go to put your board in, it's going to be exactly where it should be. And they want some pins over here to help support here. That being said, I do have the auxiliary dust port unit, which is amazing, by the way. Really don't care much about it at the moment, but it's going to help, first of all, steady the router from dipping, tilting, and it's going to suck up, and I'm not making this up, about 95% easily of the dust. You know, routers can put a lot of dust out there and chips. So I'm outside, I'm just off my back porch actually, and you know, I'm already anticipating the comments, oh, that's not safe. Don't do it if you don't think it's safe. Don't do these types of things. I had this set up, and again, why do I have this set up? I didn't go over that. It's because this board is so long. All right, I have to lift it up into the unit here, right, and I have some room down there That's great. But in my wood shop with the regular setup, even having this uh, jig, they recommend that you make a platform so that you can clamp it down. All right. And then you can move it here, there, and yonder. Well, I have it on my works bench here. Look up that episode where I take it out of the box and talk about it, on top of a table. And I have shingles that are holding on everything down there. So, like, that's not safe. Well, don't do it then. I feel perfectly safe. And so let's just address that right away. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and mount the camera and start going through this. I may have to break this up into several episodes because I have to change the bit and so on and so forth. I'm already at 5 minutes, almost 6 minutes of yip yapping. So let's see if I can zoom in here while I'm videoing. I can. Isn't that marvelous? Sorry about the shaking on the big TVs. All right, so let's go. Make sure you have ear protection. Oh my God, ear protection. It's very important. Unplug your router when it's not in use. I have mine plugged in because I'm all ready to go here. Everything is adjusted. So we're going to go ahead and cut out the dovetails. What you're doing is you're going between the rounded parts of these pins here, right? The rounded. So you're not going to route out on this side. This is going to be left alone. All right, just so you know. And it's a good idea to take a pencil, because in the heat of the moment, you may just, Lord knows all the distractions that you have. You don't want to cut on the wrong side. And what you're going to want to do is take the board out and flip it this way. Now, if you do this exactly right every time, put the board back where I have this painter's tape. I had to put painter's tape because, again, I don't have this ledge to go against every time. But if you do this accurately, the boards can go together any which way. Okay, so there's that. Another tip I have for you is, not a tip, but the process is to cut the both tail boards out. Obviously, it may be obvious, but we'll just mention it. And you don't want to put a lot of pressure on when you're routing against these pins. They're locked down with the screws, but they recommend you don't put a lot of side pressure this way or like this. All right, I'll deal with that later. So now that we've got the tail boards cut out, and you're probably, hey, Steve, where's your dust collection and where's your face mask? I'm not doing a lot of work here with the dust, so no worries. Otherwise, I would have it connected to a dust collector and a face mask if needed. But there you go. So those are done. Another tip that I have for you is make sure that you've literally routed all the areas in there. I have left a little bit inside because I didn't see it, and inexperience, and you're just learning, you know. And then you've taken the router bit out. Now you have your straight bit in there, and you're making your pens. And you look at this and like, oh man. Then you gotta do this whole setup again. Now you can't have two routers. That's if you have this inset unit here, okay, that comes with the jig as well. Otherwise, I just have the one router at the moment. I have lots of routers, but I don't have this set up here. Otherwise, I could go ahead and have the other router set up and move right along. But I'm going to probably stop the video and then connect the next video to this one, because I have some experience where I have paused and the video did not come out. All right, thank you guys. Stay tuned. Part 1. This is part 1.